Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are back, and I'm joined by Jerrica Glaeser. Jerrica, welcome back to the program. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Jerrica, maybe you can refresh the audience. You specialize in massage therapy, among other things, and you created this amazing business where you're helping people out because you had a back injury and you know what lower back pain and neck pain is like. So that maybe that was kind of a encouraged what you're doing now. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
Yes, absolutely. I specialize in the relief of chronic low back and neck pain. And the reason I do that is because of all the car accidents I've been in, and I suffer from the same thing. So I really like to help people who just cannot seem to get rid of that pain. It's really great being able to help them be able to walk better and just live their life every day at a time with less pain. And I love seeing their smiles afterwards.
Yeah, and your story is really cool too. I mean, here you are. You worked at a 911 dispatch, and you're at the top of your game, and all of a sudden you get the universe tells you that you got to go out on your own, and you got to do what your passion is, which is this. Do I have it accurate?
Yes. Yep. I was in 911 for 5 years. And then I'd say the last year or so I was there, I kind of played with that idea. And then I finally said, this is it. I'm doing it.
Right.
Yep.
And I can imagine, I think you referenced it one time, that there's a huge emotional dump when you do that type of work every day.
Yes, it can be. I actually really enjoyed it. Some days were a little more harsh than others, but the work itself was fantastic. Just long hours.
Yeah, and you always had this thing, like if you put them together, I mean, the end result is the same, is that you have this desire to really help people in a very positive way. Where did that come from?
I think that's just my personality. My parents always said that I love taking home strays, and it didn't just include animals; it included humans.
Okay, I understand what you mean. Now, I know I've asked you, but maybe we can just go over it again, because your topic today is you're going to talk to us about how we should act when we're getting a massage. There's a lot of things that we should know, but before we get there, can you kind of reiterate on what about massage? And I know the car accident, which is an incredible story in itself, but what about the hands-on learning that trade and making your own business out of it? Why wasn't it acupuncture? Why wasn't it chiropractic? You went into massage. Why?
Well, I was working at a Massage Envy, and I had been there for about 4 years before I made the decision to go ahead and do massage myself. I was just in that environment. I had already been getting massages while working there because I need to be able to tell clients about who they're seeing and what kind of massage they do. So I have to experience that first. And then after my car accident, just getting those benefits of massage from that end, I said, okay, I think I can do this. I would love to be able to get into this. And the school I went to, they offered where you can drop out within the first 2 weeks if you don't like it, and you don't have to owe them any money.
Okay.
And I said, okay, if my pain keeps me from doing massage, then at least I don't have to sacrifice any money for this.
Gotcha. And didn't you say that something really helped you too? Massage was number one, but then it was either acupuncture or chiropractic in a conjunction. You worked two together that really helped you. What was that?
Yes. So what I would do is every other week I would get a massage or an adjustment done at the chiropractor. So 1 week would be massage, next chiropractor. And I just kept doing that every month for a few months, I would say at least. And I realized I didn't need to go that often anymore. So it was the initial going all the time to get your body to a good space where you can start spacing out your appointments a little bit more. Because the
Okay.
whole goal of those is to get a massage once a month for maintenance, or getting an adjustment once a month for maintenance.
I see. Okay. So before we get before you put us on the table and we know what we should be doing and not doing, um, we we go to a massage therapist like yourself, usually because you specialize in neck and lower back pain. Does every massage therapist have a specialty, or will some do a holistic type thing?
So it depends. A business person told me that I needed to focus on one part and try whatever it was that I loved the most. That's what I should focus on to help people.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of massage therapists when you're fresh out of school. We aren't taught anything like that. So when I first started, I just did a basic full body massage kind of thing. So if you find somebody who says they specialize in something, that means they know what they're doing.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and if, people don't know your backstory. Once they do, I mean, do you ever share that with any of your clients?
Oh, absolutely. I want you to understand that I get your pain. So I actually, part of my advertisement is literally telling people exactly what happened to me, is all my car accidents, and how I understand your pain because I have it too.
Right. All right. I mean, that's how if you're relatable. I mean, that makes people comfortable, I'm sure.
Mhm.
So, all right. So now let's enter into. Okay. Say I have a little brother, and he has lower back pain, and he wants to try a massage. He's tried everything. He's tried chiropractic, everything. What's the first step? That let's call him Joe. That's just pretty. Let's call him Joe. So say Joe, for his first step into getting involved and possibly being a client of yours. What's the first thing he does?
So he should definitely call me and ask me if that's something that I would be able to help him with. So I would need to know what happened, what caused the injury, how long has it been, and what he's already done. So if you're saying he's tried everything and this is just the last step that he needs to do, then I would ask a little bit more questions about the nature of his injury.
Okay.
And I'll ask him what makes it worse and what makes it better.
Uh-huh. And
What
that's
he's
done on the phone. That's the consultation that's done on the phone for like what, 20 minutes type?
Yeah, it just depends on what kind of questions I have, how long it'll last, or how many questions they have. So yeah, over the phone is the best way to get all of that information before I even see you.
Okay. All right. So then you guys decide that this is probably going to help him. So sets up an appointment, comes in, and what's the first thing he's going to see?
So for my place, as soon as he walks into my office, it's in a big 5-story building. But once he comes into my office, there's a big desk, there's a couple chairs for a waiting area and my sign. He'll see me behind the desk, and I'll greet him and bring him back to the massage room.
You didn't have to fill anything out or anything, because you
Nope,
guys
that's already done.
you already did
It'll,
that. Okay, gotcha.
yeah,
So you, all
it'll
right.
be done all online, for at least for my practice. It's online.
Okay, so you bring him back to tell me what the room looks like. What is
So I have, there's a chair in the corner where he can sit or put his belongings. After I leave the room and he disrobes, usually that's where people would put their stuff. There's a little shelf in there. I have a potted plant. I have a light that changes colors and a little fan. There's a table in the middle of the room. And then there's like another light in the corner because I turn the main lights off so they're not shining in your eyes. That'd be pretty annoying during it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So in a table, there's isn't there like a hole for your face? Is that normal? Or?
Yes. So some tables have it actually like right in the table, but there's an attachment that you can put towards the end of it. There's holes there where you add it in, and then it folds up or down. So while they're face up, I have it folded down so I can really get into their neck and upper traps.
Okay. So and there's like a sheet there, right? So Joe will disrobe and then lay face down and put the sheet
Have a sheet
over the
over 'em.
back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright.
You get underneath the sheet, and I always start my clients on their back, so they'll be face up.
Okay.
And I make sure I say that a couple of times because a lot of people, they say okay, but they don't understand it. So you got to be really specific.
Okay. All right. So now you got he's laying down. Now you come in. Now, what should Joe be doing during this massage? Let's do the do's and don'ts. So let me give it over to you and tell us what he should and shouldn't do, so we know.
Absolutely. So once I come into the room, I'm going to ask you a couple questions or tell you things like communication. Let me know if I'm going too deep or not deep enough. While I'm telling you this information, there's like a bolster, you put it underneath the knees so that way they're elevated a little bit, takes pressure off their back. I'll ask you a couple other questions just to make sure we're all good and you understand. You can talk to me at any point. Now, what the client needs to be doing is listening and understanding that, yes, they can, they're in charge. So if something's uncomfortable, they need to speak up. But most importantly, they need to be laying there and breathing the entire time. It's
Like how?
crazy, but you just stop breathing. You'll hold your breath at certain points of the massage. And it's because you're not relaxing enough. You're keeping yourself from relaxing.
Okay.
Or maybe I'm hitting one spot where it's kind of like painful, but in a good way, even, and that you're holding your breath. That's not helping.
You got to make sure you're always breathing.
Breathing. Just so sometimes if I'm massaging and I do notice that you're holding your breath, I'll go, breathe. Just breathe.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Even I do it.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like something that, we would, but if like you said, if it's a good hurt, or if something new is happening where you're working on a certain body part or something like that, you might hold your breath, right?
Yes, you don't even realize you're doing it too. So that's why it's important for your massage therapist to be also paying attention. So we can tell you, hey, you do have to breathe. Go ahead and do that.
You could probably can you feel that with the place that you're working if the person isn't breathing?
Yes, if you're anywhere on the torso, you can notice it pretty easily because that you're right there and you're staring at that part of the body pretty much. If I'm down at the feet though, I might not necessarily see it right away.
Right. Well, I guess what I was wondering is can you feel a change in the muscle if someone is holding their breath? I would maybe it would tense up. You would know that.
If they're tensing as well, then yes, you'll be able to feel that. So then that's when you just tell them, hey, relax. We tend to shake your body part. So if you ever have a therapist that just kind of like moves you and wiggles that part, it's because you're tensed up. And when we wiggle you, it helps you be able to relax that part of your body.
All right. So even though my cousin or brother, whoever this fictional person was, had a lower back was where the pain is. Will you work on the legs and the arms, even though it's just it's the lower back that's bothering?
So for me, if it's only the lower back, what I would do is I would still have them get on the table face up because you want the quads to be worked on. If those are tight, they're going to be pulling on your lower back and causing you more pain. So we want to get those nice and loose for you first. There's a couple other moves you can do for your hip flexors. So just it's like some stretches that could help. And what you would do is I would stretch you and then I would have you push against me for a few seconds and then relax. And you do that a few times and you move it in different positions. And it really helps relax all the muscles around your hips. Mm-hmm. Then flip you over and work probably from like your mid back down all the way into your glutes.
Okay. And I heard there's a big correlation between abdomen strength and a low back pain. Is there anything to that?
Yes. So if you have a nice strong core, that'll help take pressure off your lower back too. Everything that gets done or anything that is on one part of your body will affect the opposite part of it.
I don't remember ever people working on the therapist working on your abs. Do you guys do that? Do you work on people's abs?
You can. It's not common, but certain people will have issues if you have any stomach problems in general, and you need help with bloating too as well. You could get your stomach massage. I don't usually do it. Every now and then I will do that, but I'm not as comfortable with it as I would be if I was focusing on your neck or back.
Okay. All right. And I have a question. Why do you guys work on, or do you do any work with the temples or the face or um, ears? I know
Absolutely.
you told us about that pulling thing you do with the neck that you got one time that was too hard. You didn't like it.
Yes, I told them specifically don't do it, and they did it.
But you didn't say anything, right?
I didn't say anything during it, but beforehand I said don't do that thing, and that was like the very first part of the massage that they did, and I stayed quiet.
That's that communication you're talking about.
Yes, communication. So I've since learned the error of my ways. But yeah, absolutely. So what I would do is I like to start at the head. Um, I don't always do the face unless you specifically say something like maybe you're getting over a sickness, so your nose is a little stuffy. I can work around your cheeks. If people have TMJ issues, you can definitely work around the whole face and the jaw just to help them out with that. Some people request that their scalp gets done, which does feel really nice.
Oh yeah.
I don't like to get it all the time because I feel like it's taking away from my time where I want it.
Okay.
But it does feel really good.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I get back to more of what the new client or clients in general should be doing, you gotta make sure that you're not clenching up and holding your breath. What are some other do's and don'ts that we should be doing when we're getting work done by a therapist such as yourself?
So a lot of people, when they should be relaxing on the table and trying to calm themselves, they end up trying to help us. Don't help us.
Okay, tell me more.
So if I like, especially when I'm starting at your neck, when you're face up on your table and I'm bringing my hands underneath your upper back and I'm pulling along your neck towards your head, people will lift their head. No, don't do that. Don't lift your head because I'm using the weight of your head to help me get into your muscles.
I see. You would tell us if you wanted us to lift your neck.
Exactly. Like, there are some moves where I do need you to do something, and that's when I'll tell you, especially when it's time to roll over. I'm not going to roll you over. I need you to do that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. What do people do with like do you work on the arms and hands? Because I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but there's something in the hands that might help with the head, and I would assume if it helps with the head, it helps with the neck. Because you said everything's connected. Do you ever
Yes.
work with?
So there is a part of the hand you can squeeze. It's between your thumb and your index finger. Just if you go in there, you can feel around, and it hurts once you find it and you squeeze there. It does hurt quite a bit. I've been told that it helps with headaches, and I do this to myself every now and then, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But absolutely, there's plenty of massage techniques you can do to help with the hands and your arms. I know for me, I can get some pain into my left hand, and where you actually want to massage is towards the elbow. Because if it's tight up there, that's what is causing the pain down in my hand.
Oh, is that when you guys do that thing where you make our hands move by touching the forearm? Our fingers move by doing something.
It's actually, yeah. So it's underneath of your forearm, so on your palm side. So yeah, you could definitely massage in there, and your whole hand does that. It
You're
just
like,
squeezes it.
how is that?
Yeah.
What? How did you do that?
You just push up with your thumb or pull down, and your hand just curls in.
Wow, that's pretty neat. So my question is, where I brought all this up is, what should the client be doing with their hands while you're working on a different part? Are they folded? Are they flying free? Are they on the table?
So for me, I always tell you when you're first laying down, just put them wherever is most comfortable for you. A lot of people will have them crossed over their stomach when they're laying face up. And when it's time for me to work down in that area, I just grab your arm and I move it down and I work it and I place it back up there.
Okay.
If your arm isn't placed on your stomach, I do put it there regardless, because if I know that I'm going to be working into your hips and your upper thighs and everything, then I want your hands out of the way. If the client moves them back on the table, that's fine. Again, I'll just move your hand slightly away so I can get all the way up the outside of your thigh and into your hips.
Okay. So the main thing that you're saying here is, um, don't do the work for the therapist. If you want our hands or legs or feet in a certain area, you're going to tell us to do that.
Yes, yeah, don't move around. I mean, if you're uncomfortable, obviously move something,
Right.
but if I'm working on that part of your body and I'm going to move the sheet so that way, and if I'm picking your leg up and moving the sheet underneath so that way you are completely covered,
Yeah.
don't lift your leg for me, because as soon as you give me all of your weight, you're gonna like, it's gonna pull me down. When if I just lift it and place it down, it's a lot easier.
Okay. How about some other things that a novice client might do that is not going to get him or her the best experience with a licensed and um, you know, top level massage therapist as yourself?
Okay, so I mean, if you're fresh, never gotten a massage before, just be honest. It's all about the communication. I think that's going to be the toughest part for any new clients. If you're highly uncomfortable in general because this is a new experience, don't be afraid to say that. Like, let's joke around about it. Let's try and get you comfortable with it. I think that's the most important thing, is to be able to build that rapport with your therapist and them with you.
Oh, yeah. I do you get some guys, and I say guys because there's a lot of meatheads and maybe weightlifters. I can say it because I was one. So do some of them purposely, even though it's probably killing them, and that they might be uncomfortable because of the pressure, they will keep it to themselves and not say anything. And is that a very strict do not do, as you just
Correct. Yeah,
example?
yeah.
I'm not
If
calling you a
you
meathead. I'm not. That's not.
if you are feeling something and you're thinking, you're laying there and your eyes are closed and you're just like, oh my god, I wish you would stop this. I wish you'd move on. Stop just doing that. Voice that. Don't keep it inside. I can't read your mind.
Right.
If I do notice you tensing, I might say something, but just because a client is tensing doesn't mean there's too much pressure, it hurts too much. They could just be tensing because they're like freaking out and can't relax, kind of thing. So I try to ask, but if you don't tell me, I don't know.
Okay. Do you? Is it always? Will the therapist always use some kind of oil or something to help with the massage, or is that just a case by case basis?
So it depends on what modality they're using. There are some modalities where you don't use like any lotion at all. The only time you would is if there's absolutely no movement on their skin, like it's just too dry, that they might put a little bit.
Okay.
But there are a few moves that I can do. Like there's a ringing move where you're literally just grabbing the muscle and twisting, and then holding and twisting some more. And you don't want any lotion there, because then otherwise you're not going to get that full grip for it.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Why don't we do one? We only got a couple minutes left, 3 minutes. But let me do one question from the audience because I don't want anybody mad at me.
Okay.
What do you got, Mr. Producer?
We have Fran in Seattle says, is it okay to ask our therapist why they are doing something, or does some get offended?
That's a good question.
Oh no, that's absolutely fine. If you don't understand, like I have plenty of people when when they come to me for lower back pain, and I say, yeah, I'm going to work your quads. I always explain it, because before, when I didn't explain it, people would just look at me like I'm strange.
Okay. Because you didn't see the correlation. All right.
Yeah, they're like, why are you working my quads? It's my lower back. So absolutely, if they're doing something and you don't understand why they are doing that, just ask.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's that move for? What is that helping me?
And if the intention is there and they really don't know, it's really nothing bad they can say to offend a therapist, right? If it's real and they really just don't know and are curious, it's not like you're going to get mad, right?
Of course not. And unless a massage therapist is just really bad at customer service, there's no reason they should get mad at you, especially if they know you're new, or maybe they just feel comfortable with that massage therapist and they can ask these questions that they didn't feel like they could before.
Mm-hmm.
But ask away, just, don't give attitude, kind of thing. Like if you're like, what the heck is this therapist doing? Why are you doing that? And you come at me with attitude,
Right.
that's going to kind of
not-
make it a little awkward.
Yeah.
I'll still tell you, but it'll be a little weird.
Yeah, yeah. Because I guess maybe some people might feel like maybe I might be bothering. She probably doesn't want to explain why she's doing. But you're saying above everything, communication and being comfortable and building that rapport is how we're going to get the best from our therapist.
Oh, absolutely. And especially if it's during the massage, that's the best time to bring it to our attention, because you might forget at the end, or you might try to explain, hey, you were doing this one thing. And we're going to have to try and figure out, okay, what thing is this person talking about?
Right.
So if you're in the moment, ask it.
Okay. And my last question is it rude to fall asleep?
Oh, no. I love it when a client falls asleep, because that means I am doing such a good job at making you relaxed that you should just pass right out. And that I love falling asleep during my massage too. So if I'm falling asleep, then I know my therapist is doing great.
Okay, awesome. Great information. Jerrica, please let us know how we can get a hold of you, anything that you want to leave the audience with. Thanks for the great info today. And sorry I didn't get to everybody on the instant feedback, but I will save them and get to them at a further time. But Jerrica, you got the floor, my friend.
Absolutely. And you can always go to my website at trinitytm.com. That's trinitytm as in therapeuticmassage.com, or you can call or text 727-300-2668. I really want you guys to go ahead and check out my website. I just updated it with a bunch of new pictures of my office. So enjoy that.
All right. Awesome. Jerrica, thank you so much. I can't wait to hear what you got for us next.
All right.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day, and guys, we'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.